All right. So why did you choose to attend graduate school and your specific field of study?
So when I was at Lafayette, I did a lot of research with Professor Lauren Anderson, and I really loved it. And so I wanted to, in the future, do more research. And I really liked working in a lab. I liked designing projects. I liked the idea of having freedom to pick whatever you wanted to study. And I knew that eventually I wanted to be a professor at some level of some college. And so grad school was kind of the obvious and only choice in order to get from being an undergrad to someday being a faculty member. So I guess that's why grad school. And then my specific field of study, I currently am looking at, I'm in biomedical engineering, but I'm specifically studying disease mechanism of emerodifus muscular dystrophy. And that I actually had been dreaming of studying since I was in 9th grade. I have an article from the New York Times that's titled, "Given the Chance to Be Little Ballerinas and Smiling Right Down to Their Toes." And it's a article about a woman who realized that little girls with cerebral palsy or other debilitating diseases, muscularly and skeletally, could never take a dance class because of the insurance risk. And when I read that as a 9th grader, I couldn't imagine my life without dance and the role that dance had played in my life. And I was inspired then to start studying disease mechanisms and treatments of neuromuscular diseases. So I had always known I wanted to eventually get here, and it's just kind of amazing that I'm actually here now. But ballet is the reason that I picked my specific field of study.
My second question, can you please tell us what a typical day is like at graduate school?
Yeah, so my days actually vary a lot. So there's some days where I have a lot of meetings. We have lab meeting where we share with our group the work that we've been doing. I'm on a teaching fellowship this year, so I spend a lot of time in teaching seminars, learning how to teach. And I also spend a lot of time mentoring my 3 undergrad students. So I have weekly meetings with them, and those meetings take up a decent amount of my time. But beyond that, in my first couple of years, I did take classes, about 2 or 3 classes a semester, for about 3 years. And now I'm taking one class that's really focused on teaching. And the rest of my time, I spend a lot of time doing experiments. I'm currently managing a mouse colony. So I go down and I visit the mice and I check on them and I plan my experiments based on what mice are born. And then I do a lot of mouse work, which also involves a lot of waiting, because you have to wait for the right mice to be born, for them to get to the right age, and then you have to do the experiment, and you have to wait for however many weeks or months afterwards. So I do, like I said, a lot of waiting, and then in between I do cell culture and cell work, reading papers, and a lot of the mentoring and meetings that I talked about before. But my specific day-to-day is actually very different. I never have 2 days that are exactly the same.
So our third question is, what is your favorite part of grad school?
So I'd have to say that my favorite part of grad school has been the teaching and the mentoring that I've been able to do here. I've always been really passionate about that. And like I said, I have 3 undergraduates, and this year has been really wonderful because they're all seniors. And so I took 2 of them to the Biomedical Engineering Society annual conference, and they both presented their research, one at a poster and one at a presentation. And it was so much fun for me to see them really grow into scientists. And, they joined the lab and started working with me when they were sophomores. And now, they're presenting their research at conferences. And I think that's my favorite part, and a lot of what keeps me motivated when, the experiments don't always work, because they don't. But seeing them and helping them learn the process of research is wonderful. And the other thing that I'm currently really excited about is I'm helping my PI, my professor, my advisor, develop a new course for incoming sophomores next year. And so we're going to start teaching that in January. And it's been a lot of fun to look up some of the theories behind teaching the best way to do STEM education and to remember thermodynamics, which I haven't done very rigorously in a couple years. So that's also been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to actually try that out and help teach.
Okay, thank you. And then our last question is, how did Lafayette prepare you for graduate school?
So I think one of the largest things that LAF did was, and especially the chemical engineering department, I guess I can't speak for every department, but was to focus on the ability to present. I came here and I knew how to make a poster. I knew how to give a professional presentation. I didn't have to read my notes off of a slide. I was comfortable really speaking ad hoc about the work I had done. And I knew how to write. And that was really helpful coming in. And that was just from a lot of that was from my classes. It was also from my research, but I also learned that in the classes. And I think it also really helped me to learn how to be a mentor. I had such great mentorship in terms of research, but also just in terms of life and how to think about balancing life and balancing homework and balancing, your work. And I think that's really helped me to learn how to also mentor my own students right now, and ultimately one day the students that will actually really be mine when I get a faculty position. And that has been really helpful in the focus that undergraduates can really contribute in such meaningful ways has been a defining part of my graduate career also, because I've set my undergrads loose on their projects and have really let them make mistakes, which is something that I was lucky to make some mistakes that mattered, but also have people that let me learn from them at WAF, and not everyone in their undergrad was as lucky.